Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a spiritual awakening. And also, you may be wondering,
how did I get here?
Welcome back. I'm not sure if you're a Talking Heads fan. I know I am, and I felt that the song kind of resonated with today's topic. Just kind of wanted to change it up a bit, do something a little different. I know my last few videos, I've been mainly talking about my experience with fibromyalgia, mental health, and also weaning off of my medications. So today I felt inspired to go ahead and talk about spiritual awakening, since it's something that I've been working through since I was a kid. However, I didn't really start taking the necessary steps and approach until I was, I would say 2013 is when I really started doing that inner work. So anyways, for those of you who are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Rosie. This is my cosmic garden. And the content that I usually go over would be, like I just said, fibromyalgia, mental health. But I also am into spirituality, psychology, esoteric methods, you name it. And of course, if there's ever a question or if there's a topic that you would like for me to discuss, please do not hesitate to leave me a comment or shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or even do a topic that is of your interest, okay? So with that being said, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell. I feel like that's the rage right now. Almost every YouTuber is starting to say smash. So smash that notification bell, okay? All right, so let's get back to it. So, as far as a spiritual awakening, I know it can look very different from person to person. Other people, it might be very similar. But as far as going through the process, there are a few vital tools that I've personally used myself throughout my awakening process, and I felt that they've helped me a lot. So with that being said, I feel like it's very, very, very important to be confident, secure, and know who you are. In ancient Greek and Egyptian times, inside their temples, it was so important to them that, quote, they actually had it inscripted all over their temple, and it said, "Know thyself." And I feel like these days there's just a lot of distractions. I'm not saying that mindful entertainment is a bad thing necessarily per se. I think everything in moderation is good. However, if you're at that point where you're questioning life and you're just saying, is this really it? The 9 to 5 kind of thing, or if you're in school, whatever it may be that you're doing, if you feel that you're not really passionate about it, or if you feel like you're meant to be doing something else, or you have a more significant purpose, just know that you're not alone, and I'm happy that you're here. This means that you are going through that spiritual awakening, okay? So I'm here to validate that, because I know sometimes you can feel like you're going crazy, like what's going on? I don't understand. But anyways, one of the tips that I wanted to provide, and again, these are just tools. I don't want you guys to start thinking that this is something set in stone. This means that this is the person who you really are. No, they're just tools that you can use just to kind of start understanding yourself a little more and where you're coming from and why things happen the way they did and why you do the things that you do. So for instance, back in 2013, I really got into psychology at that time. I was studying English, and then I changed my major to psychology, and I was doing a lot of research on personalities. And there is this test. It's called the Myers-Briggs Typology Index, or indicator, depending on who's phrasing it. And what that is there was 2 professors that they teamed up. They were both psychologists, and they felt that there are 16 personalities in total. So 8 of them are extroverted, and then the other 8 are introverted. But within those extroversion and introversion, there's still a lot of things that kind of vary from person to person. So with that being said, I did provide a link on my page. You can go ahead and check that out later on when the video is over if you'd like. It's absolutely free, and I think it's something that would be really vital. So if you feel that the results are accurate, then that's awesome. You know, just start questioning yourself. Okay, well, if this is, for example, I'm classified as an INFJ, which is supposed to be one of the rarest personalities. There are only 2% of women who are INFJs and 1% of males who are INFJs. So I'm not trying to be, you know, flashy with that at all, not by any means. I'm just using that as an example because for a long time before I found out of my personality type, I felt like something was wrong with me. I felt very detached, very disconnected. Even though I was very empathic, you know, I was very nice to people. I was always able to relate and understand to others. But when it came to me, I felt that it was not really returned or reciprocated. So because of that, I struggled a lot. I really did. But after doing that test and, you know, seeing the results, it made a lot of sense. And I was really skeptical. I did it thinking, yeah, right, I'm gonna just do it. It's probably like horoscopes, you know. But I was actually wrong. The test is accurate so long as you are very, very, very honest. And don't let yourself get deterred by some of the questions. For instance, I know some of the questions that I was looking over, and before I answered them, I would skip them, go to the next one, and then try to come back. And the reason why I did that is because I was reading too much into the question itself. So if you're like me, you're very analytical, you know, someone tells you go left and you're just like, well, left where? You know, you start creating all these scenarios in your mind. Relax, just take the question for what it is and answer it accordingly, okay? Now, the next thing that I felt was very helpful to me, aside from the 16 personalities, is the Enneagram. So the Enneagram is similar to the MBTI. The only difference is that it's structured for 9 different personality traits. And within those 9 different personality traits, let's say if you score really high on, for example, a 2, but then you're also borderlining a 5, so then you would be a personality 2 with a wing of 5. I know it's kind of confusing and probably doesn't really make sense, but I don't want to take credit for it because, again, these are not the studies that I've done. These are just tools that I've used in order to get a better understanding of who I am and why I do the things the way I do. And also, it's helped me understand that things are not happening to me, things are actually happening for me. So the same goes for you. And I know it's hard to hear that, especially if you're going through some really crappy shit. But, you know, just hang in there and just know that things are not happening to you, they're happening for you. You know, it's just like that refining process. In order for you to be strong, you know, trimming the fat, you're becoming a whole person, okay? So for instance, when I did the Enneagram, I do it like every year, every 2 years. So ever since 2014 all the way up until 2017, I scored the same. I was a dominant 5 with a wing of 6, or sometimes I was dominant 6 with a wing of 5. And the reason why it fluctuated, and at the time it didn't dawn to me until today when I took the test, I actually scored differently, which is a good thing. It's good because with the 5s and 6, they tend to be very creative, very analytical, very empathic, very intelligent, but they have severe trust issues. And I had severe trust issues growing up. You know, I had a really abusive father, and just a lot of stuff happened. Not to get into that because that's for another time. But yeah, so due to a lot of traumas that I experienced growing up at a very, very young age, all the way up until I was about 19 or 20 years old, I had severe trust issues. So one of the goals that I had intended for myself with my spiritual journey was to try to be a little more open, live in the heart space, try to trust people a little bit more. You know, not everyone is out to get you. Not every man out there is a bad man. So these are just all beliefs that I had created in my own mind. Therefore, they were being projected and they were being thrown right back at me. And I had to learn the hard way with certain situations that have happened. So with that being said, I was happy to see that when I retook the test, I actually scored a dominant 1 with a wing of 2, but maybe having the possibility of having a 6 there, kind of, sort of, but a very low percentage. So I scored higher with the 1 and then with the 2. So again, I know this is all jibber jabber right now, but again, I did provide a link, so if you want to check that out later, feel free to do that, to your leisure, and you'll be able to see the breakdown. It'll actually explain to you what means what, okay? Thirdly, I know it sounds kind of woo-hoo, but numerology. Yes, I actually tried numerology about a year ago. And I wasn't too serious about it. I saw the ad on Facebook, like, oh, get your free numerology report. And I thought it was cool because there's like this video and it'll say your name and tell you like what your path for your life is and your heart's desire, stuff like that. But I didn't take it seriously, just kind of saw it again. It's probably just like horoscope, just something you read, makes you feel good, and you go on about your day. But a few months ago, I actually got back into it, and there are a few vital things in there. I'm not saying that everything in there 100% is true. No, again, with these items that I'm providing you as tools, they're to be taken with a grain of salt. So don't take them too seriously. Unless you are really resonating with it, then by all means, go ahead. But yeah, so with numerology, I found it to be very interesting, with my life path number, with my expression number, my lucky number, stuff like that. Just adding up all the numbers from your date of birth, your name, your middle name, your last name, and then your new last name if you got married or if you change your name for whatever reason. It's just really interesting. I think that one, for more than anything else, it was just something that was really interesting to me at the time. And I did get to learn a lot about myself as well. So the fourth item that I feel like is really, really vital is reading the book called The 4 Agreements. I'm not sure if you've heard of it or not, but it's a book that was recommended to me about 2 years ago, and I it was fascinating. I love to read, don't get me wrong. I love reading, I love doing research, but it's just one of those things when someone tells you like, hey, you should read this, you're just like, yeah, I'll read that, and then you don't, you just do something else. So it was just one of those things, and I was reading it, and then I also was listening to the Audible, and I'm like, wow, I should have listened to that person that told me. So if you're watching, thank you. You know who you are. I'm sorry that I just started reading it, but hey, I'm sharing it with other people now. But yeah, so The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. I know that's a lot of rolling with the R's in your tongue, but he's amazing. What he talks about, I'm not going to go into detail because again, it's not my book. I'm not being sponsored or anything like that for it. These are just things that I want to share with you guys that I've used personally, and maybe it might be vital to you, but it's just the 4 agreements. It's the agreement that you make to yourself, it's the agreement that you make to others, and also lies. Again, belief systems. Sometimes you can tell a lie to yourself, and then there's lies that you tell your outer circle, and then it just gets bigger and bigger. So with this one, he kind of turns it back and makes it a little more positive. And one of the agreements that really stood out to me was being impeccable with your word. I feel that it's so, so, so important to be impeccable with your word. Yeah, there's been times where I would say, yeah, I'm gonna go do this, or yeah, and then it just never gets done. And I feel that a lot of the reasons why is because I was not giving myself permission to be impeccable with my word. For instance, this YouTube channel, that I just created, I've been wanting to make a YouTube channel for years. You know, I love to write, I love to do research, I do poetry, and these are just things that I do on my own, just for fun, you know, journaling. But for some reason, I felt like one of the lies I was telling myself was, you're not good enough to make a YouTube channel, or don't share those things with other people. You know, you're putting yourself out there. People don't need to know your business. You should be seen and not heard. I'm not sure how many of you guys have been told that, but I was told that a lot growing up. So because of that, I was very, no peep, no sound. So anyways, now that I'm getting older, you know, I'm starting to realize, you know what? It's time to open up the heart space. It's time to give myself permission to do what I feel is vital to my health, to my well-being, because at the end of the day, you have to know yourself. You know, maybe there are lies that you're telling yourself, and it doesn't have to be about not being good enough to create a YouTube channel. Maybe you want to try something new. Maybe you want to chop off your hair and dye it blonde like I did. Or maybe you want to try a new food that you've never tried. Maybe you're thinking about going vegan, but you're scared. I don't know. But whatever lies that you're telling yourself, I'm here to tell you, stop it. It's not doing you any good. Just give yourself the permission. Give yourself the permission to get to know yourself. Because when you know yourself, people cannot walk all over you and they cannot shake you. Let me repeat that. When you know yourself and you're confident about who you are and what you want in life and where you stand, people are not going to shake you. If anything, they're probably going to look up to you and be like, wow, that's a pretty cool person. I said all this crap and they still didn't listen. They didn't care. So with that being said, whatever it is that you want to do, if you have a goal, or if it's just something you want to practice more self-care, who knows what it might be, just allow yourself to do that. Give yourself that permission to do that, because it's very important, especially if you want to grow within your spiritual journey. A lot of times it's going to feel uncomfortable. You know, I'm not here to bullshit you and say like, oh yeah, it's so fun and it's so easy. No, it's not. Yeah, of course there's times where you do have moments of enlightenment and moments of like, wow, like I've come so far, or you just feel great. And then other times you may not feel so great, or you might feel intimidated, or again, you might just feel uncomfortable depending on your situation and where you are. I can't speak for you, but just know that I'm not here to bullshit you either and say that it's the funnest thing ever and it's always going to be fun. No, it's not. There's going to be times it will be fun, but there's also going to be times where you're going to be tested and you're going to have to show forth. You're going to have to really show yourself if you really want to move forward, or if you just want to lie dormant and just keep watching the mindless entertainment and pretend like you're okay with where you are right now. But if you're not, and you're trying to move forward in a positive way, by all means do so. Give yourself that permission. You are allowed to do so, okay? Another thing I forgot to mention as far as books, aside from the 4 Agreements, I'm sure you guys have heard of this book. It's been out since I think 1992 or 1995. The 5 Love Languages, or the 5 Languages of Love. Now with that one, I feel like it's really important. It doesn't matter if you're single or if you're married or if you have a significant other, if you're just dating. It's really important to know what is your love language. Because a lot of times, you know, when people go into relationships, they have certain expectations that they have of their significant other. And some of those expectations aren't always right, and they're not always realistic. So if you know what your love language is, that will help you and your significant other out a lot. And if you don't have a significant other, again, you're just dating, or you're single and you're just enjoying yourself, that's cool too. But you should still know what is your love language. That way, you know, maybe with your family and friends, you can share that with them too, and maybe they can start learning what their love language is. Because a lot of times, you know, people may show their love one way, and the person who's on the receiving end might take it the wrong way. So we can all be given the same information, but we're all different, so we're going to all process it a little differently. So with that being said, get to know yourself. It's very important. Do some self-exploration. Self-discovery is amazing. It's not like the first time you masturbated, like, wow, like, this is cool. Okay, no. It's not like that. But at least it's something stimulating for your mind, your heart, your soul, and your well-being. Growth is so important. So if you are here and you're watching this channel, thank you so much for staying tuned and being strong. I just want you guys to know that I love you guys so much. I believe in you guys. Never give up. Again, I have provided a few different links. These quizzes are free. However, if you do want like a more in-depth report or summary, I think the website might say, oh, this is just a small little summary. If you want something more in depth, I think it's like $5, like $10. I'm not sure. I didn't do it. I just did the basic summary one. I didn't really want to go into too in depth into it because I've already done it in the past before, and this was just like a refresher just to see where I stand, And then I also did provide the links for the 4 agreements along with the 5 languages of love, or the 5 love languages. You know what I mean. By Gary Chapman. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I always enjoy my time with you guys. And if you haven't done so already, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell. If you have any questions, comments, please do not hesitate to share them. Also, I want to know, okay, I'm going to hold you guys accountable. If you guys do take this test, or tests, I should say, please comment. I want to know what your love language is. I want to know what your MBTI personality is, your Enneagram, your numerology, all those things. And I've shared mine already. I provided it next to the link so that way you can kind of know what mines are too. But I want you guys to share. That way it's not just one-sided. This is a safe space, a nice little community for us to grow together. So with that being said, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I love you guys so much. Please do not stop growing, okay? Love you guys. Peace.